welcome back to my channel. Today we have the first book of the Court series, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So I do have these in paperback, except from the last book, which is actually in hardback, but that is fine. Yes, I know there's some people out there like, how can you have paperback and then one hardback? Well, that's me, even though I am just really getting used to hardbacks. Don't worry, but let's get into it. I'm really intrigued to talk about it more. He's definitely, as it says on the top of here, passionate, violent, sexy, and daring. A turn true page turner. Yes, it was definitely surprising. I found this out as well, that this was a kind of a fancy retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which I'm like, okay, yes, I love Disney retellings. Me would like to see more of them. So here we have Thorns Roses. It's a nice red colour. It says, Feyre is a huntress. The skin of a wolf would bring enough gold to feed her sisters for a month. But the life of a magical creature comes at a steep price, and Feyre has just killed the wrong wolf. Taken prisoner by the High Fae Lord, Feyre learns that her masked captor is hiding even more than his piercing gaze suggests. But as Feyre's feeling for Tamlin begin to burn through every warning she's heard about his kind, a shadow is falling across the land. And if Feyre cannot fight it, she will lose everything. And let's just say I love the cover because I love this like wolf in the back. And so I do apologise if I say the names wrong. Obviously I can never pronounce anything right. So I'm glad I can know how to say Feyre, because I've heard a lot of people say that. So if you're still wondering why I'm doing my book covers this way, it's only because you might see your videos like this way a lot more often, only because you get to see more of a clearer picture, clearer sounds, and you don't see me keep moving my eyes back and forth around a corner. So the only time you'll see me film with me is when I'm doing unboxings probably, but you'll see. Anyway, so when I first heard about A Court of Thorns and Roses, I think last year I was hearing so much about Sarah J. Maas's books, and I was like, right, I need to read these. So I've already read all the Throne of Glass series, and this is why I'm adding on the Court series to my June TBR as well, and a lot more books, because I'm really intrigued to see how it ends. So, A Court of Thorns box is just a beautiful book, and the title suggests. I literally love the book, how it's called, A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's like so like, kind of like almost comes off of the tip of the tongue, you know. So it is such a wondrous realm of fairies and mortals. We're immediately thrown into Feyre's world, right? So she's 19 years of old, human, literally fighting for survival in the cold, harsh lands which are her home. But when she kills a wolf, her life is changed forever, because she accidentally kills the wrong wolf. As it turns out, Feyre hasn't only killed a wolf, but a fairy, and she must now pay the price for leaving her family to enter the Feylands and live there forever with her captor, Tamlin. Now, you might think that the book would continue with the Disney tale of how the Beauty and the Beast came there, but this is more intense, gripping novel, and it's only about love and also survival. So I thought that it was quite slow. Like, I was reading the book and I almost gave up like at page 50, and I was like, okay, my eyes. So like when you read a book, but your eyes end up just going to the end of the page. Yeah, I keep doing that, and I was like, no, I need to stop doing that. But I did it. I got read it, and I did it. The pace increased gradually, and I was literally intrigued and interested with the passion inside the book. I literally wanted to sprint through the pages, like literally just wanted to sprint through it all, just get it done, and I pretty much did. It did take me a couple of days though, so it's not much of a sprinting. I was reading maybe 2 chapters a day, and more when I feel like it. So obviously I wanted to read the next book straight after, so I did, but I totally forgot to record my book review. So lucky for me, I do write everything down now, so that's one thing about me filming this way. You don't see me looking at a bloody book, my phone for details. So it says, I was literally hooked on the characters, the story, and the words. So literally, I didn't want to pretty much stand alone. So we have the characters. From the characters, Feyre, a strong, independent girl who knows her own mind and strives to save her loved ones. Despite being occasionally mistreated by her father and her sister, she still continues to work in order to provide for them and ensure that they are safe. I'm praying that her relationship with Tamlin does not end up in a love triangle with Rysand. Then again, we have Tamlin, who is honest, perhaps the most honest and complete male protagonist you probably ever encounter. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. We might. But then it's like he has some like sides of him. I was like, wait, he's shown so many different sides of him. Shy and sweet, but also confident and strong, which almost fell in love with his character myself, literally. So then we have Lucien, who is without a doubt one of the saddest male characters. Sassiest. I can't even read my hand, not saddest. He's the most sassiest character. A male character I've ever experienced. His character, although second to Tamlin, he's a very important to me by providing great humour. So just reading this book was so intriguing to find what I read. If this series came, like, I know I've recently seen that like all these books series are now coming up as a movie. And I'm so like, oh my god, they're coming as a movie. What is going on? And I've seen people try like remakes of, they call it Thorns and Roses videos. Sorry. Where they're showing like movie clips. I'm like, well, that can't be right because that doesn't really much look like it. But so then obviously just reading the writing, and I literally smashed out 4 books in, I think, in a couple of weeks because I was like, so intrigued to read it. And when, like I said, where I've read all my other books already, I was literally almost reading a book every day. So I just wanted to read more and more of these, and literally the next book is A Court of Mist and Furies anyway. But the book was so fun to read, I enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to read more. Right, guys, so that was A Court of Thorns and Roses. Next up, we do have The Court of Mist and Fury. See you in a bit. Bye. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book. This has darkly sexy and thrilling. This was good. If you was reading a book and you was reading it and you're like, oh my god, these scenes. This cover, it looks like a bird with a raven. It's like a raven but a bird. But I love the artwork of this. Like you just see like the detail of the book. It's green as well. It's a bit more bigger than the first book, but it was really dark to read. So we have Feyre is immortal. She has rescued her lover Tamlin from the saddest fairy queen and now possesses fairy power beyond imagining. But Feyre cannot forget the destruction she wrought to save her beloved, nor the bargain she made with Rysand, the High Lord of the Fear Night Court. And as Feyre is drawn even deeper into Rysand's world, she senses a dark pain in his heart that echoes her own, for good or ill. Feyre must embrace the changes within her. War is looming, and the only full might of her new powers can save the people she loves. I love how this human all of a sudden just gets power, you know? I love that in a book. It's so good to read. So, no one was my master, but I might be a master for everything if I wished, if I dared. Hell yeah. So I literally, like, if I'm reading a book and I get into the book, I will get very like emotional to it. So let's just say this book got to me. Literally. So you like investigated on somehow and read, so they expect to just go on without regular life, you know? You just want to carry on reading the book to see what happened. So this is about obviously a mortal woman who's taken away to the fairy realm of a fairy realm, and basically Feyre is back home at Springcourt, grappling with the horror she endures under the mountain. She's in debt to 1 month to 1 week every month. So did not expect this to happen. Feyre is extremely fragile, a fraction of a person she once was in this. The events that took place under the mountains physically psychologically destroyed her. Now, High Fae, she has unidentified powers lurking within her. So we're thinking, is she really human, or was she really a fairy in general? You know? and by smothering them. As the events of the first quarter of this novel unfolds, it became increasingly obvious to me that Feyre needed to get the hell out of Spring Court. Even Rise, who initially painted as the bad guy, was horrified when he found Feyre wrath-like and shell of who she once was. And she goes off to the Night Court. Now I get why there's Night Court, the day where the courts are, and I'm intrigued now. So she meets Rise friends group, who's quite honestly a group of my favourite secondary characters ever written. So I must say that she nailed this. I enjoyed reading this novel, the literally true testament to this book. Okay, it might be the second one, but I'm not saying that like the third book or the fourth book or the last book. These were amazing. I actually enjoyed them. Which brings me to Rise. Rise, oh my lord. Okay, I'm addicted to this character. Okay, guys, he was. I was like, hello there. I'm excited to announce that I was totally off. You know, I thought he was an ass. He stands by Feyre, not in front of her. He hasn't yet announced a male in fiction that's China's Rise. He's like supportive of Feyre, never forcing her to do anything she doesn't feel comfortable doing, but also encourages her to pursue the things she's good at. And that's all the things I really value in real life, you know? So Rise is a good partner for Feyre, a good friend to his inner circle, a good hideout to his people, obviously including his Court of Nightmares. She meets, she's damaged, she's been thinking through hell and back, you know, her character changes a lot, and you can see that. She's like a bird in a gilded cage bound to the Spring Court invisible chains, but no room to stretch her wings. By the end, she's savvy, collected, using her intelligence to outwit nearly everyone around her. So she's like using her brain, using her mind to actually kick some butt. As when we were taken out the Spring Courts and into a different courts, it seems we got a very clear look under the mountains. You know, like we only ever saw Terra's manner the whole land in this novel. However, we got to see different courts, including Night Court, as multiple other areas across the realms. That's literally all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any other books than that because literally just want to find out more. Okay, guys, I am so intrigued to see what happens. Okay, so the next one is A Court of Wings and Ruins. So I'm excited to tell you more about each of these books, literally. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Literally 2 seconds because these are all going to be together, just so you know. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have A Court of Wings and Ruins, the third book to the Court series. This is thrilling, okay guys? Look at the cover art. This is in a kind of pinky purple colour as well, which I love these random colours, but they're bright and they're punch me in the face kind of thing, you know? They're so good. So this is the book. So this one looks like it was to be a bit larger than the last one. Then we have this. Feyre will bring vengeance. She has left the Night Court and her High Lord is now playing a deadly game of deceit. Her former lover Tamlin is making deals with Feyre's enemies and she's determined to uncover his plans. But can she make him believe she has come back to him when every fibre of her being yearns for Rysand? As mighty armies clashes, Feyre will discover she is not the only one hiding something, as the webs of secret lies and betrayals is revealed. Fighting for the truth may cost Feyre and her court the ultimate price. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to find out what happens more, and I wanted to get this book read as quickly as possible. So I kind of did. So I think I read this in literally maybe 2.5 days. For me to read a book really quickly is really, really impressive for me, because wherever I only started reading last year in the lockdown, I am now constantly reading so many books, and it's ridiculous. So Feyre was married in secret to Rysand and is now High Lady of the Night Court, right? She returns as a spy to the Spring Court with Tamlin and pretending that she has been brainwashed into staying with Rysand in the Night Court for all these months. Secretly, Feyre is seething with anger and plot revenge. So Tamlin agrees that in exchange for Hybern's help in getting Feyre back from Rysand, he would open the Spring Court's land to the Hybern's invading forces. Dorian, the human commander, who was re-recruited by the magic cauldron, along with 2 warriors from the Hybern, arrived in the Spring Court to inspect the magic walls and separating the humans and the Feylands. In spring, Feyre is reversed as the Curse Breaker, the one who ended Amathanda's vicious rule over Pathiron. Feyre's soul strikes throughout Tamlin's court and undermines the High Priestess Lathin. Feyre argues with Tamlin, but so purposely insane his temper when he doesn't cause the room to explode. Feyre doesn't shield her body. Tamlin court sees Feyre's cuts and bruises caused by flying debris. They begin to hate Tamlin for his views. She also incites Tamlin's jealousy by confiding Lucien, Tamlin's best friend. So Feyre accompanies Durin and the Hybrid royals to the walls to check the holes in the magic barrel, right? So the royals reveal that they are looking for places they can use the cauldron to destroy the wall, allowing Hybrid to capture humans, lands, and enslave the people. With this information, Feyre is ready to leave Spring Court and return to Night Court. So when in the woods, she finds Lathian sexually assaulting Lucien, which, so I have to say, it was something that I did. Was like, what? Feyre stops to help Lucien. Feyre breaks into Lathian's mind and compels the priestess to stop. But then the Hybrid fire finds her and reveals that they've been poisoning Feyre for weeks. Feyre and Lucien fight and kill the royals, but they have physical and magical strength is snapped from the poison. She agrees to take Lucien with her to the Night Court. They travel through the autumn and winter lands when Lucien's brother finds and tries to kill them, but Azriel and Cassian of the Night Court rescues them. Back in the Night Court, Feyre is reunited with Rhysand, overjoyed to see her friends have healed from the confrontation they had with the King of Hybern. Her sisters were forced into the cauldron and transformed into High Fae, are angry, depressed, and cold to Feyre. Elaine speaks strangely of things that haven't happened yet. Nesta possessed an otherworldly presence that none could understand. The cauldron made Elaine a seer. When Nesta went into the cauldron and stole death from it, since Hybern intends for the cauldron in a weak spot and will destroy it, Feyre asked Nesta to use her connection to the cauldron to patch the holes in the wall. Nesta and RN search for useful spells in the Book of Magic. So since Bethrion's armies are much smaller than Hybern's, Feyre asks monsters for help. The Bone Carver is an ancient being of death that wandered into the world. Along with his sister, the Weaver, Feyre asks him to fight alongside them in the war, and he agrees, but only if she can fetch the magical Ouroboros mirror for him. The mirror forces a person to see your true self. Those who have tried to take it have been driven mad. The Carver will need a Fey body to leave his prison. Another creature, Baraxis, agrees to leave its prison to Pit to fight the upcoming war. Elaine sees a vision of Mid, a mortal queen who is cursed to turn into a firebird every night. Oh, that was like so cool. Lucien volunteers to go find the queen and ask for her help in the upcoming war. So Rhysand called a meeting of the High Lords, but before they confirmed Hybern attacks the Summer Court, the Night Court goes to hell and finds the slaughter in process. Feyre and Morrigan fight through the side of Spain Count, while Rhysand tries to reach the king, who uses magic and illusions to evade the capture. Hybern withdraws and fighting ends, but the casualty count is high. Hybern's forces are completely larger than Pathiron's, and all the Fey Court must be united for them to stand a chance against so large of enemies. The meeting with the High Lords is held in the Dawn Court, and natural territory. All the Lords Plus including Baron from the Autumn Court and Tamlin, both verbally attack Feyre and Rhysand, causing them working with Hybern. Tamlin is particularly bitter about Feyre's betrayal. Her plotting left his court in shambles. As a result, the Spring Court has been taken over by Hybern, and his people were forced to flee to other courts. Nesta's connection to the cauldron made her ill with a sense of foreboding just before a huge wave of power sweeps across the land and the cauldron brings down the wall. The High Lord expects from Baron and Tamlin pledges to work together against Hybern, and they all leave their respective cause. Elaine gambles herself to look human so she can plead with her fiancé to take as many people as possible into her father's fortress. Most definitely dead. He tells Weiss that Tamlin went back to Hybern and betrayed the High Lords, and the Hybern plan to attack the Summer Court again. Using Durin's information, the Fae ambushes Hybern. There's a bloody battle, but these soldiers doesn't make bulk of Hybern's army. Feyre goes to ask a magical creature, the Surreal, if to see where the King of Hybern and the rest of the army are hiding. The surreal tells her that the cauldron cloaks the king's location, but Nesta, with her connection to the cauldron, can find both. The surreal also tells Feyre that Armon and a book in the Book of Magic are the key to winning the war. Afion finds Feyre and kills the surreal. She pursues Feyre through the woods, and Feyre traps the priestess and her soldiers inside the Wavering Cottage, where the monsters eat them. Yeah, that was very gruesome. But in the night, Elaine is kidnapped and taken to the Highbury's camp. Feyre adorns Lith appearance to sneak into Highbury's camp to rescue her sister. She receives help from Durian and Azrael. She flees with Elaine, and the king sends his hounds to attack. Tamlin, who's been secretly working against Highbury from the inside, shapeshifts into a lion and saves their lives, allowing them to escape. More battles, more this, more killing. As the king's about to kill Nesta and Cassian, Elaine comes from behind and stabs him in the neck. Nesta ends the king's life by beheading him. Literally beheading this dude. After the battle, Feyre, Nesta and Elaine burn their father's body and pray for him to enter the afterlife. Feyre asks Miriam and Dracion to hide the cauldron on the island. Vastia, the Firebird Queen, asks Feyre to work on a spell that can break her curse. Feyre calls a meeting to discuss a new treaty between humans and Fae, because before she, her friends and family return to Velaris and the Night Court. Yes, please. That was like definitely told you bits and bobs, but oopsies. But I'm so intrigued to see more of these. These just more fun to get through. And let's just say, when you read these books, do you ever get to the point where you're like, oh, that just happened? What is going on? And stuff like that, Read these books if you haven't. If you've heard so many people about, the Court series, read it, guys, okay? Read it. Next up, we have A Court of Frost and Starlight. That's only a small book, so that's only going to be like a small little read. I'll tell you more about it when it comes next. Thank you. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. As you can see from the other previous books, this is like a baby. This was like a day read. You can simply get this and read. This is a nice baby blue colour with these bright yellow front, and which are so cool. And here we go. Excuse me. On the darkest night, the stars still shine. Feyre's first winter solstice as High Lady is drawing near. With it to come a hard-earned rest for the work that she, Rysand, and her friends have done to rebuild the Night Court, and she vastly changes the world beyond. Yet the festive atmosphere can't keep shadows from looming. Even as her own heart heals, she finds out that those dearest to her have wounds that go deeper than she knew, and the scars of the past will touch her court in times to come. I love this book. I love it. It was so nice. So this was like kind of like a perfect festival read almost. So celebrating the winter solstice. I can't say that word. Okay. So I enjoyed it. So, but while I was like returning to the world and spending time with these characters, this starts showing to see what the purpose is for war is and what the kind of plot was. But yeah, it was actually nice. And we'll find out more about it if, stuff like that. It didn't feel like there was much new information that could have been into it. If you haven't read the first 3 books of the series, don't read this one first. You need to read the other ones before you get to this one, because I think it pretty much get to more of it. So I'm just curious to see where Nesta's character in the next book series will go through. I didn't see like what was going on in the book that you would just want to carry on reading more and more from it. Feyre, Rhys, and their close-knit circle of friends are still rebuilding the Night Court, and stuff has more come from it all. So yet, even the festive atmosphere kept the shadows past movement, as Feyre negates it, she as this High Lady, right? So from being a human to a High Lady, guys, that's something, and she is picking it through. The first time was when we will read about Cassie and Nesta and the more perceptive, their own side. I will love that what Maas did when she did that. Clearly, these were the narratives of the new books. and she's read stuff to these different voices interestingly. Freya and Rysand will still written in the first person, while Cassian, Nesta, and Nora are in the third. I'm not really sure what this means for the new books, but I'm interested to note. Find out more about his new family of Durin and Vesta and how they're going to break Vesta's curse. I'm actually intrigued how they're going to do that, because, you know, trying to find more. Then you can see there's a lot of scenes that you don't like. If you read the book, can you see those kind of scenes? Yeah, they are quite a Eurot. And that's, guys, so let's just say, calm down on those scenes, mate. Jeez. This long and short kind of novella definitely came between like the end of the first trilogy and the beginning of the new series of books. But I think she's done very good. To come to this book, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't want to say is like, this is amazing. I'm so glad to finally get these books as well and to see what everyone else was raving about, and I see why. I definitely see why. Next up, we have A Court of Silver Flames. Let's get to it. Thank you. Oh, why is it always off center? So this is like a big book, so it's like really off center at the moment. This is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is the last book, and oh, guys, these scenes in here, like in all the books, oh my gosh, literally holy moly. Okay, guys, damn. So this is the Court of Silver Flames, right? The silver book kind of dies down from when the bright colours in the other four books. This one is the most chunkiest book from the series as well. Like this, and yes, it's in hardback. So yes, it's all in hardback and everything like that. But I wanted to get this in hardback because it was I got those in like together as a paperback, and I didn't want to change them. And to get those in hardback were like 40-50 quid each. No, thank you. So, nope. On these hardbacks, it's decided. Nesta Archian has always been picky, proud, swift to anger, and slow to forgive. And since the war, since being made a high fae against her will, she struggled to forget the horrors, and she endured to find a place for herself within the straight and deadly Night Court. The person who likes her temper more than any other is Cassian, the battle-scarred wings warrior whose there is Nesta's every turn. But her temper isn't the only thing Cassian likes, and when they are forced to train in battle together, sparks became flame. As the threat of the war casts its shadow over them, once again Nesta and Cassian must fight monsters from within and without if they are to stand a chance of halting the enemies of their court. The ultimate risk of searching for their acceptance and healing each other arms. Pretty much, you can tell, two people fall in love. So, and slow to forgive, even since she being forced into a cauldron and becoming a high fae against her will. She struggled to find a place for herself within the strange, deadly world she inhabits, where she can't seem to move past the horrors of the war with the high brain of all lost in it. One person who, like I said, who initially ignites her temper is Cassian. I hope I'm saying his name right. The fire between these two is undeniable. It only burns hotter as they force each other's close quarters with each other. Like I said, the scenes, damn. Meanwhile, the treacherous Human Queen, who returned to the continent during the last of the war, has forged a dangerous new alliance, threatening the fragile peace that has settled over the realms. And the keys holding them might be a very well rely on Cassian and Nesta to face their haunting past. Against the sweeping background of the world seared by war and plagued with uncertainty. Nesta and Cassian battle monsters from within without they search for acceptance and healing into other arms. So, whew. So in this book there is some trigger warnings, stuff like that. Well, trigger warnings anyway. There is a pregnancy in here. I did not expect. graphic mentions as well as all sexual assaults throughout the book. So there's like a lot of rage, depressant, gaslighting, torture, verbal abuse, rough birth and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, this is like intense. I was like, I don't think I want to read the book, but I have to. So like I didn't come to the book, so obviously I was really intrigued for the other two characters. But these Cassian and Nesta, I was like, okay, interesting. So at the end of the book, I wanted to punch everyone in the face for treating her badly. Literally. I don't know the way the trauma is handled in this book. I know would be some grace with me based on the review, but it's like this was just hard for me to read because just to see that the trauma that's in this, I was like, I read it, I did it, but this was not my favourite book. Yes, I know that you might thinking, Amber, you're crazy. Why would you think that? But yes, it wasn't much of like that kind of scene to where I wanted to read it and even know from it. So even when Cassie knows about her nasty feels about the sound of the flames from a fire and her reason behind it, Cassian does nothing to address it. He doesn't know Nessa's braved and conquered her fears of the flame, but it stands that he did nothing for her, and I'm really irritated by it. Like, this stuff in the book, I'm like, oh, okay, this was good, this is cool. And then some bits I'm like, what? What is going on? So, I will have to say, it was definitely different things that I didn't get to see, but let's just talk more about it a little bit more. So since everyone in the corn are being a douchebag to Nesta, I'm glad that she found and made her own friends. Gwen and Enemy are so awesome. She does her training and she carries on what doing. Favours pregnancy, goes all the broken dawn on us. There's definitely Hollows and Hunger Games kind of storyline kind of to it. They call the Death Trove and the Blood right here from all the people. So yeah, Favour's pregnant, and I was like, oh cool, I like that, that's amazing. But the way people get treated like a piece of crap on this, I was like, I don't know how to say this. But I'm going to stop talking because otherwise it's going to be dead. So the future of the Nesta and Cassian story might end with here. But there's still a lot of like unanswered questions outside the romance. I'm getting tired of that, kind of doing this. Is High King writing going to be a thing now? What happened with all the made swords? Will Death Trove objects still be summoned by Nesta in the future? I think 4 human queens remain. Will they still be a problem? Will we learn more about Gwen's past and the hints of her father? What if it's Tamlin? I hope it's not. Jeez. There were four shadows in the Death Trove vision Nesta had, though thought the 4th would be the House of Wind, but maybe not. Is it Lane? Yeah, there's so many questions to be answered about it, and I'm sorry, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I did not enjoy this one. Like I said, I did not enjoy it. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just couldn't get into it at all. Sorry guys, but I still prefer the other 4 books to this one. So thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you guys next time, because next up we have Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.